welcome to the special edition of the Music for Life podcast. I am your host today, Kelly Davis, standing in for Chris Swan, who is out of town conducting some wonderful business with his wife at a licensing fair. But this special edition of the Music for Life podcast has to do with us talking about the North County hip-hop scene back in the 1980s, 90s. And so this is one of our mini segments that we'll be having. I'm so delighted to be in our studio right here, right now, with the incredible, the phenomenal, big ghost of IBS. That's the Innocent Bystander. So welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's exciting stuff. You know, I am so interested. I obviously wasn't around North County during that time, but where I was in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, but we always rolled to Detroit. So we always benefited from hip-hop music from our own homegrown town. And a lot of people don't understand there was these pockets of awesome talent in the local scene, including North County. So, Big Ghost, can you paint us a picture? Can we go back in time? Let's say about 85 as a smile comes across your face, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. That was a good date to start at 85, because 85 is the year that I moved to Oceanside from L.A.
Okay.
And I came out here. I was already DJing as part of a crew. We was called the Bedrock Production Crew. So I moved out here. My father was out here. He had bought a home out here. So I moved out here. And shortly after I moved out here, I met a guy named Joey Turman. He was also a DJ. We linked up and became good friends. We had a lot in common, both being DJs. He ended up DJing a house party that I had back in them days that people still talk about this house party to this day. It's one of those classics.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going back to L.A. for the summer, during the summer. When I came back to Oceanside after that summer was over, Joey and Will had hooked up. And they had hooked up with another DJ who was even older than we were. His name was James Wilson. He went by J Play. So he was a little older than us. I was like 15, 16. Will was about the same age. Joey was a couple years older than us. And J Play was a couple years older than him. So he was like in his 20s already. He was a little more advanced, a little more mature than we were. So he had a studio. And back then, somebody having a studio was a big thing. You know what I'm saying? He had a 808 beat machine, 2 Technique 1200 turntables. He had a Mirage keyboard sampler, which back then was like a gold mine. You know, so I came back from LA. They were doing demo songs and stuff already. So I came back and I was hearing all this stuff going, oh man, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is what I want to do too. I was just a DJ. I didn't have any music production stuff yet, equipment at that time. So lucky me, what happened is that Jay Play, he lived in an apartment complex down in the valley, deep valley of Oceanside, and really couldn't make a bunch of noise and stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and,
just how it is.
Hip-hop is always associated with loud noise. You know what I mean? So I lived with my dad. It was just me and my dad, and he was gone all day. Uh-huh. He would get up at 6 a.m, be gone from 6 a.m. to like 2 a.m. So I basically had the whole house to myself all day. And so
unfortunate for you.
Yeah, unfortunate for me. It probably was. It was in the long run, growing up without much discipline, you know. But so I was like, well, hey, you guys can, James, you can bring this stuff over my house and you can record over here.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? We can turn one of these rooms into a little studio. So
inventive entrepreneurs.
Yeah, exactly. So he went for it. It was like cool because he just wanted to record. You know what I mean? So he brought all this stuff over to my house, kind of added it to my little DJ stuff that I had, and then they started recording demo songs and stuff. And you know, we're talking 85, 86 at this point. Where really, you know, it's not like how it is now where, you know, everybody, there's so many people that are making music now, you know.
And you need to also say the prices of the equipment
Exactly.
and how to record.
Yeah.
I mean, back then you all were doing
that's where James see, like I said, he was about 5 years older than us. He was already working, had jobs.
So he had
so it means of, you know what I'm saying, purchasing because back then if you didn't have at least a good $15,000-$20,000, you wasn't going to get in the game, the recording game.
And I really think that's important to really say. Just let's just take that for a moment. How to create music back then, and especially when you get into producing it and all of that, there's a lot of steps and there's some money involved, and a lot of this culture, especially in the 80s and 90s. You said y'all were young. I mean, y'all, you know, you said 5, even the guy that's 5 years older, he was probably about 20, 22. These are young folks doing what it takes to be part of the music industry. And I have to also ask you, Big Ghost, you called everybody else out with their government name. You got to give your government name too now. What's yours?
It's Andre Rader. Yeah.
So give me the group members again, their names and their stage names that was in that IBS, the Innocent Bystanders.
This was actually what turned in. This is before the IBS.
Oh, okay.
This was actually what turned into B-Boy Rage.
Okay.
That was the name of this crew. Okay. And so that was William Harrison.
His
name was Rap Chief Willski, the notorious Rap Chief Willski. Everybody know Rap Chief Willski. If you from the town, you know what I mean? So, and then Joey Turman, who was also an MC. They were a pair, the duo pair of MCs. Joey Turman, who back then went by... Hold on, that was so long. What was Joey back then? Joey was J Love. Because we've all switched a few times throughout the years. He was J Love, Joey Turman, J Love. James Wilson was DJ J Play, and then here go a real good one. So me, Andre Rader, I was DJ Sex Fiend. I kid you not.
With your 15, 60-year-old self.
You might have to bleep that one. Yeah. Yeah. And really how I got that name is I used to tag up on the wall. Me and a couple of partners, we was like halfway taggers. And I was just really thinking of something for shock value, something that people will remember when they saw it. So I started tagging Sex Fiend. And then as I became a DJ, it turned into a DJ name too. And I'm telling you, it worked too. Because later on, a few years after that, I ended up being over at Ice-T's house, who's a hip-hop legend, Ice-T house. And you know, I was introduced to him, and I told him my DJ name. He said, "Man, that's the best DJ name I've ever heard in my life." He said, "I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that." You know what I mean? That's a name I will not forget. I said, "Yeah, well, that's why I did it. So it's working."
So you knew how to market yourself even at that young. Yeah. And I really think that that's also part of this culture. What people don't understand, the enterprisingness and the creativity, is that you all had a sense without even knowing it. Marketing, business, entrepreneurship. We'll get into the music industry of itself in a second, but. I also want to tell our viewers here, if you hear some things in the background, Will Harrison, Chief,
Rap Chief Will Ski.
Yeah, he's in the house, and he's helping to produce this segment. So you might hear some laughter. So that's what that's coming from. But could you also turn that fan off for me, Chief?
Rap Chief
Will Ski. Yeah, please, thank you. But yeah, okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So let's go back into it then.
Okay.
Where were you then?
So I'll finish off, continue on with that history of that time.
Yeah.
So so that core group of guys that were coming over to my house and recording turned into B-Boy Rage. That was the name of that group. And then I became part of that group too, just because, I was there every day.
They were in your house.
Yeah, it was in my house. And then there was a particular type of a scratch that was popular at that time. It was called the Bicky scratches, right? It was kind of hard to do. And Jay Play, who was a DJ, he really couldn't do it. He could transform, but he couldn't do that Bicky scratch, which was like, it was two separate kinds of scratches. So whenever that particular scratch was necessary in the song, I would do it. You know what I'm saying? So I just morphed into that group, and it became a 2 MC and a 2 DJ group, 2 and 2. So yeah, we were cutting demos out the house like that, and then I met a guy called Mike Master Trick, and if you go way back, here in local North County, San Diego, North County history, you probably remember that name, Magic Trick Productions. They did a lot of the dances and stuff around the town. They were promoting the hip hop dances and stuff back then.
Because it's a whole culture. It's not just music. It's the dancing. It's the
Mm-hmm. And they were really like the only ones around here doing that at that time. Mm-hmm. So they were, the only thing cracking. He also mixed Mike Master Trick from Magic Trick Productions. He also was the MC for the group that Greg Mack from KDAY in Los Angeles, which was like the popular hip hop radio station in LA back then. They had formed a group for that station. And Mike Master Trick was the MC for that group, for that station too, the hottest hip hop radio station on the West Coast, really back then. Mm-hmm. And people that remember K-Day, Greg Mack, that was like the go-to for hip hop music back then. Mm-hmm. So, and Mike Master Trick, even though he was the MC for that LA radio station, he lived out here. He grew up. Well, he didn't, he lived out here and had been out here for years. He was based out of Oceanside. And so long story short, he ended up hearing our demo and liked it and ended up taking our demo to Alonzo, who was the owner of Crew Cut Records, which is the record company that Dr. Dre and all them got their start on.
Wow.
As the Wrecking Crew. Dr. Dre was part of the Wrecking Crew. They were on Crew Cut Records. So we ended up getting a deal with Crew Cut Records as well.
Now this is the not the IBS. What's the name?
B-Boy Rage.
Okay.
B-Boy Rage. And our first single on Crew Cut Records was
Say it. Come on.
More Bounce to the 40 Ounce. More Bounce to the 40 Ounce. So you can kind of imagine as youngsters what page we was on. Yeah, we were fully immersed in the whole culture at that time of being 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, More Bounce to the 40 Ounce. We did. We put out a single on that label, and we were just 15,
How'd that
16
song
years
do?
old. It did fairly well.
Okay.
Fairly well. Fairly well. You know, it wasn't a big radio hit or nothing. But I know I would have family members and friends that would go like back east and come back and be like, "Man, I heard your song out there." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had people go to Detroit, come back like, "Man, your song is like the #1 song in Detroit." You know, so it had some success.
And I think it's fair to say right now, again, when people think, especially again, 80s and 90s, this hip hop cultures, especially in the 80s, because initially a lot of the gatekeepers, they had no reference point for it. And I'm talking, when I say gatekeepers, I'm talking about the music industry and whatnot. They had no reference point. You know, that famous story with Run DMC when they did My Adidas, for example, and they were like, Adidas was like, yeah, we're not going. They had no idea.
No idea.
Just as you said about the music, the dance, the culture, the dress. They had no idea that this was a true movement. And I think that, and especially with the songs, getting back to those basement parties, those house parties. Again, I'm from, we Detroit, Midwest. We would get our music from the DJs that would be playing at the party. It wasn't just on the radio. It was a real community thing, and that's what you're getting at. Yeah.
It's hip hop was our generational movement. You know what I mean? And look where it's gotten to.
They had no
idea.
They
had no idea. Basically, it took over. Hip hop took over every genre.
And still is.
And still is.
So this is why I'm so glad that Chris and Will got together and wanted to talk about this particular time in our history and North County specifically, because I really think that the hip hop scene, at least I'm coming to understand, is representative of a lot of towns, Detroit and, Memphis and, all of these other cities that you can refer to, Chicago as chocolate cities, they had their own.
It was a national movement.
Yeah.
It was our way of life. Yeah.
So there you are, got your hit song. I'm just, for what it was hit, in some circles.
A local hit. Yeah.
And then and then you're encouraged, right? You're like, yeah, we're really doing this, and people are feeling us, and all of this. So
we were doing our thing at that age, 15, 16, not really understanding anything about the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so we kind of got into a deal that wasn't a good deal financially. You know what I mean? So we ended up kind of like, well, we can do better than this on another label. Or at that time, we were so like motivated and headstrong about it. We were like, we can even do our own label. So we ended up not doing another single with Crew Cut because we didn't like the deal, that how it was structured, and we were like, we'll even get another deal, a better deal somewhere else, or we'll just do our own label.
Enterprising.
Yeah, we were.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Way back then, so we were kind of a little ahead of the game on that, but then, of course, we're 15 and 16, 17 years old at the time, too. Within that time of that transition, some of us start going to jail, getting caught up, you know what I mean? And that plays a big part in, you know what I'm saying, how you move forward.
So when did IBS come in again? The Innocent Bystanders.
Around this time.
Okay.
Around this time, because like I said, some of the group members went to jail from B-Boy Rage.
We have in the background Will saying he might have. He was one of them.
Yeah. And so, and then Jay Play who was, he really owned all the equipment, most of the good equipment that we were using to make these songs and these demos. He ended up kind of backing out of it, and
Just because of the circumstances, people were leaving and
because
coming and kind of
the
thing.
group was kind of wasn't advancing because major members of the group were incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then at the same time, you got everyone starting to have their first child.
Yeah.
And now we young fathers, trying to raise babies, and so we had to start working and hustling, and you know what I'm saying, and that takes away from the group creativity time. You know what I mean? So there was a lull moment where things just weren't really advancing, and so James one day he was like, "Hey man, I'm coming to get my equipment. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming to get it. I want it at my house now." I was like, I couldn't say no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he came and got his equipment. So then my partner, my brother from another mother, that was in the Bedrock crew with me before I even came to Oceanside, we had he had got a MP60.
Now, what is an MP60 for those?
An MP60 is a sampling drum machine, MIDI drum machine, which at this time you're talking like 88. You know what I'm saying? They were like, that was like $6,000 to get one of these.
Say it. It was a different time.
It was, and so if you had an MP60, you were ahead of the game. You know what I mean? At that time, he got one. So then, me and Joey J Love, the other MC, we started traveling up to LA to his house, and I had so yeah, we started going up there. He had the MPC. Then me and him, we both bought a keyboard together to add to it, and bought a 4-track recorder. And this is how I used to record back in them days, with 4 tracks. You would have 4 tracks to get a song done.
So now you're engineering this too?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, because while all that stuff was at my house those few years before, I was learning all of it. I had learned it.
And people need to know there was no YouTube.
No YouTube.
There was no, you were, and that's one of the things why I really wanted the series to come out is people don't understand. They only know what's going on now. I mean, everything is, you get an app, you good. But back then, you actually needed brick and mortar. You needed the equipment. And you all were learning it on your own. When you're not trying to go to school because that's money. And also, it's a technology that you actually had. Now, how did you learn it? Just by observation, instructions?
Just by watching. I watched James. He knew how to use his own stuff. So I was just watching him. And then with it being at my house, whenever he wasn't around, I was on it, practicing, learning it. You know what I mean? And had just got just as affluent with it as he was at some point, you know? So, yeah, just watching and learning and hands-on trial and error. I learned all that.
So when the guy got that beat machine, the
MPC 60,
you had already had some.
Right.
Okay.
I probably had more knowledge than he did about his own machine. You know what I mean? Because he used to come out here, and I would show him how to use my stuff.
Self-taught.
You know what I mean? Self-taught. So we both kind of just like mastered that MP60 together, and that's when the IBS formed, the Innocent Bystanders, because at this point in time it's just me, Joey, J Love from Oceanside, and then my partner Dante, who was DJ Don Juan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Will Ski was not there at that time.
Will Ski was incarcerated.
Okay. But they're in spirit, huh, Will Ski?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not just you're DJing, you're rapping.
I'm DJing and producing.
Okay, and composing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to get that in. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
And so was Dante DJ Don Juan, who also changed his stage name to No Sense, Mr. No Sense at the time. Yeah.
I love these names though. You know.
We was kids.
You know, free people name themselves. And at the time, this is okay. Now I'm going to change it. How empowering is that? I'm done with, that name. I'm going to change it to this name. I love that stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we were doing demos and stuff, and then putting songs together. And this is really where we came into our own, and we're really like known as being like really good at it. You know what I mean? The material that we were making at this time was like some of the best material that you could listen to at this time. That was the reputation we were getting around town from here to LA. Like, oh, they nice with it, So then, now here comes my little bad situation comes in at this time. I end up going to prison too. So I went to prison for about 4 years, just being young and dumb, but it was all hip hop related. My whole thing, I've been hip hop. My whole life has been pretty much hip hop influenced. I was out here doing dumb stuff at a young age, trying to start a record company off, trying to get money to start off a record company, you know what I mean? Which ended up backfiring on me. But so I went and did like 4 years myself. While I was gone, so before I had left to prison, there was another young guy around the town named Lil Slim. Now Lil Slim,
I wonder if he's little slim now. Is he slim?
Now he big lefty. He big lefty slim now. But he was a little youngster that the girlfriend I had at the time, she would mention to me, she'd be like, "You guys think you guys are just the stuff. You guys think can't nobody fade you guys." She was like, "My little friend, my partner Lil Slim, he'll get with y'all." And I was like, "Oh yeah, right, whatever."
Not one to shy away from a challenge, huh?
Yeah, whatever. Nah, can't nobody get with us. So one day I was at the park at Buccaneer Park in Oceanside, and somebody had some turntables up there, and I ended up getting on the turntables, mixing a little bit, and then Joy, my rapper, he started busting some lyrics, at the park. And then Lil Slim got on the mic and started busting some lyrics too.
You can catch me in Romeo slippers with a 1/4-inch cuff in the 5, or with a trunk full of Poyos, exit Oside Bully off the 5. I could be a straight up connect if you could buy bold in just 5. 252 grams, that's 9. Multiply that by 5, then that 3/4 of a bird, 1 more pound, and I'm lousy with gas pedal, nigga, I'm trying to tell you.
He was hard. So I got at him. I was talking to him a little bit like, yeah, we go to LA, we go up there and make songs, we putting demos together, whoop-de-whoop. I was like, yeah, you should come up there with us. He was like, okay, yeah, I want to go. He was with it. I showed him our little, we had already, at this time, we had started our own independent record label called To The Curb Records. I showed him the logo for it, the artwork logo for the record company.
And who did that, the artwork and stuff?
That was my partner Marvin, Chubby, from Altadena, my partner, he was the artist that did the actual artwork for the logo. But the idea and the name of the record company was me and No Sense. We were the forefront on that business side of it, of starting a record label. We had did all the paperwork, went downtown, trademarked the name, and started the company. Me and him walked down and went to the Chamber of Commerce and did all the legal stuff to that. So that was our little our baby. You know what I mean? Me and him.
I really, with the series, I can't say enough. You all were conducting business and figuring stuff out. You didn't have anyone to show you or tell you, make sure you get a bank account and get your doing business. You didn't have none of that.
We have any guidance whatsoever, any mentorship, or none. We just was figuring it out. But that's how, when something is it's starting, like we started, our generation is the generation that started hip hop. We had to figure out how to do stuff. There was nobody you could ask or look up to, you know what I'm saying, to guide you, and we had to do it ourselves. So that's what we was doing. We just had a love for the art form and the culture.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because that's what it was about then. Hey, Will, did you want to add anything here?
I just wanted to ask him, who else does he remember being around then that was involved in the culture?
So he's asking, just so we can make sure the mic picks it up, who else was involved around in the culture, doing what you were doing? You and Will?
Yeah, other reputables from early reps and man. So when I got here to Oceanside, I got to give credit where credit is due.
Do you know my husband's rap group? Oceanside Screw Crew. Samuel, I'm blessing you out. I don't know why he has that name. But there was a couple of them. This was '83. We gonna have him in the studio too and have him discuss this.
Man, he'll be another valuable resource.
I'm gonna get him. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Who else? I'm funning because their group was definitely not like y'all's.
Yeah, and there's probably some that I don't know too. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
It's probably a bunch because that was what was going on. Everybody wanted to be a rapper back in the day.
Yep.
Male, female, it didn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah,
indeed.
So some of the other ones. So you didn't know Oceanside Screw Crew. I'm not going to hold it against you. But what are some of the other ones?
And maybe if I saw him or something, you know what I'm saying, I might know a face. I never forget a face. But so it was Frank Z and the Damn Posse.
Oh my God, Frankie Z. He's over at Oceanside High School. I know, in the telecom. Yes.
Yeah, man, he's
Blast
a real
out to you,
true
Frankie Z.
outside hip hop veteran. And then there was a group like Ace Fly Deuce Fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Names.
Yeah, that was the homie Kev. And I think Frank Z was a part of that as well. Yeah, he was the DJ for that. Yeah. Then you had the Damn Posse, which was Damn, D-A-M Posse. Mm-hmm. And that was a bunch of cats put together like
Wu-Tang kind of thing?
Like T's, MC T's, Jules, Ja Love, who else was it, man? There was a couple of cats from that. Yeah.
Say it again. Repeat what Will just said so we can get it on that mic. He said, cats from where?
There was some dudes out of San Diego.
Oh.
They were connected with, they had a crew.
Yeah. Okay. And I can't remember all of them now. But there was some more I can't remember. Those are the
Deaf Boys.
I was finna say the Deaf Boys. The Deaf Boys.
And these are all North County abouts, like San Diego, North County.
Oceanside, really based. Oceanside based.
That is something else. People really don't know.
The Deaf Boys, they had they actually were the first ones to get a record deal. I think even before we did, They were on. Remember Dale Strawberry, the baseball
Yeah,
player?
yeah.
He had a record label, and they were signed to his record label.
Of course
Dale
they were.
Strawberry Records. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was a couple of groups around that was bubbling back then.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Well, and right there, so I hear tell, like, my husband, I joke, he went into the Air Force. He didn't think the rap was gonna make him anything, which he was probably right
He's
about.
a smart
you know.
dude, yeah.
So he went into the Air Force, but very similarly, his group, some people were trying to stay and make it happen. And I was asking him, well, where did you all go to like experience this? Like you said, you set up at park sometimes, but was there a club or clubs? I couldn't really get that.
Well, yeah, the original first spots were the ones that Mike Master Trick was promoting, and that was at the Oceanside Mission Bowl,
The Oceanside Mission Bowl.
which is now the casino. Before it was a casino, it was a bowling alley.
Are you talking right there on the 5 over by Oceanside High School?
Right there.
Okay.
Yep. They had a little room, off like a little room with a stage off to the side of the bowling alley, and they would throw dances out of there and call it the Mission Bowl dance. Yeah, and that was like
performed, and you and some of your crew.
actually we have performed in there. Yeah, we performed in there, and Trick was bringing like a lot of like known artists down to perform there too. Even before we was involved with it, we used to go as just as just fans. So yeah, I remember he brought down. Who was that he brought down?
And while you're thinking, we're going to have Trick on a show, and we'll get his.
If you can find him.
I talked to him.
Oh, you did?
So.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get Trick, and we'll get him to come down here. But go ahead. He was a promoter, just for all practical purposes, and he.
Yeah, I remember he brought Ice-T down. He brought a couple of groups down. It's so hard to remember now, but
King T.
Def
Jeff. Curtis
Yeah.
Blow.
And so then at that time, those particular artists, that's when this was a couple of years later, and he was out there at Escondido at the distillery, Club Distillery.
That's another club.
That's another club.
After Dark.
We performed at After Dark. B-Boy Rage performed at After Dark.
Is that another club or a name of?
That's another club in
Okay.
Escondido. The Vista Entertainment Center. Yeah.
So there's a few venues.
There was a few venues, yeah.
The Zodiac.
That was a little bit later. Yeah, the Zodiac.
So let me ask you this. One of my experiences coming, even in Ann Arbor, is not Detroit. I'll say this. It's a predominantly white liberal town. And again, we had some hip hop influences. But when we would try to gather, at places, it would be the police would be out. And I'm just wondering, being on the West Coast, did you have a similar experience that when we wanted to go and really enjoy music and such, there used to be such a, after it was let out, there'd be such a huge police presence there, just almost like waiting for some. Did you all have that experience here in North County?
You know what? Yeah, but only when something might have happened.
Okay.
Like
at the venue previously.
Venue. Yeah, or like that night, like a fight or some type of something like that. If everything went smoothly and there was no violence that night, then there might not be a heavy police presence. Mm-hmm. Maybe none at all.
So you all could actually have some culture and some fun and all of that then. That's good.
Sometimes, but sometimes there was some violence too. Mm-hmm. So that was present too, but yeah, sometimes not. It was just, you couldn't really say if it was or wasn't.
Because people really were gathered to be about the culture and the music, especially in the 80s, because I know we used to get our CDs. I mean, I guess that must have been more in the 90s when CDs came out, but the tapes. Did you have? Were you one of those DJs too that had your own,
Yeah, well, the
big
group,
ghost tapes?
well, I did CDs a little bit later because I kind of when I went to prison, I missed some of that era, the tape era. But the IBS they were doing tapes and had a few classic tapes that were put out on cassette deck.
Because people would buy. I don't know. Again, this is Michigan. We would buy tapes. And we would buy that stuff.
Yeah, that was the media of that time. It was cassette tape,
and they weren't in the stores, so we had to come when the party was happening, or when the park or whatever. We had to make sure we had that cash and ready to go. Yeah. So that you talked a little bit about where you would go to present, and are there any other venues that you can remember, like you would come out of?
Well, not locally. We pretty much named them all locally. We also performed, B.Y. Ray's, we performed at the Casa in L.A. It's like kind of downtown L.A., which was a very popular venue during that time. The Casa, people from around that area back then can remember the Casa. We performed there, and that's pretty much it.
So here I go, and I said, you know what? I want to go and see, hear some of this big ghost and whiskey and all of this music. Where could I go to listen to any of the songs, any of the rap that you did as groups? Where do you keep it? Where is it archived? Where could I listen?
Well, the IBS album, the Just Trying to Hang On album, is available on Spotify.
Okay. And
Yeah,
under what? Because this is good to maybe we can put it on the scroll. Can you spell it out? What is it now?
So it's under the IBS. And
with the dots in there?
With the dots in there. And the album is called Just Trying to Hang On.
And it's on Spotify?
It's on Spotify.
Okay. All right.
Which is really the only complete project that we ever did.
Shoot, that's again, given everything. And and on Spotify, so was it you that got it together to put it on Spotify? Because remember, that was no such thing back then. Who put it on Spotify? Actually,
so when we became the IBS and we started, I'll go back and get to that. Mm-hmm. So me as we were going up to LA and we formed this core of 3 group members and we formed the IBS. And then, like I said, I went to prison about the same time. Lil Slim ended up morphing into the IBS and joining the IBS, and we from our previous relationships with K-Day, we were good friends with Tony G and Julio G, who were DJs for them. By now, K-Day had kind of fell off, and then it was 92.3 The Beat that was the new hip-hop station in L.A. And Tony G and Julio G had a mix show that they would do there. So we started doing radio drops for them on 92.3 The Beat. We would do their show intro song. So every day they would come on at 6 o'clock from 6 to 10, and we would do their intro song.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the world famous.
It's the 1, 2, 3 to the flow. Innocent bystanders pumping on the mix master show. Coming up like Earl, so when I throw up, IBS and show up. On the beat, guess who's about to blow up? But still aggravated, that's how I feel. Wondering will I make it? The question that's got me stressing for a record deal. But see, my G's ain't going Hollywood, so it's still all bad, and that's in the hood. I'm the bossin', hoes and pimp flossin'. No color lines on the beat, so whatever sign you're tossin', bring it, I'm crossin'. Rappers out, you know the deal.
IBS for life, fool.
Mix master staying real.
Ain't no room for no phonies. I'm just giving it up to my homies, cause they didn't go Hollywood. They stayin' real. Ain't no room for no phonies. I'm just giving it up to my homies, cause they didn't go Hollywood. They stayin' real.
And so people were like, we were getting really known for like, oh man, who's doing those intro songs for you guys? You know what I mean? So we were building up a good reputation in the city and really Southern California. Everybody that could pick up that station, which was a big station, 92.3 The Beat. You remember that?
See, I was in Michigan.
You were still in Michigan?
Ours was like 107.5 or 98.
Okay, so 92.3 The Beat was our equivalent to your big station out there. Mm-hmm. It was the biggest station out here. So, every day at 6, we on doing their show anthem, and we would always slide some O-side in there on it. You know what I'm saying? It might be had to. It might be a O-side in there at the end of the show anthem. You know what I mean? So we were bringing some love to our town too. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So that at the same time is when Eazy-E. Everybody know Eazy-E.
Yeah.
Eazy-E heard these radio drops we was doing and was like, "Hey, who is that?" So he came up to the station and linked up with us and wanted to sign us. And so we were like in process of working out a deal. This is right about the same time when he ended up passing away too. So when Eazy-E passed away, we had a deal on the table that was on the table that, you know what I'm saying, he passed away and nothing ever became of it because of that. But I was in jail at this time though, but the homies, they did do us like a small tour with Eazy where they were opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony. Mm-hmm. And that was just, Eazy was like, you guys come on, I want you, come roll with us. Come open up for Bone Thugs and Harmony. So, like I said, they was doing that and there was a deal on the table and he passed away suddenly. Yeah, wow. Passed away suddenly. Everybody know how that went, so then that kind of was like, oh, man, you know what I mean? Like, we could almost taste it, you know what I mean? Oh, man. So
there we got kind of into, sort of the progression and where you hung out. Here you are at your age that you are now, and you're looking back at some, because you all did. I and why I was so looking forward to it, I just can't stress enough. Y'all were handling business in an atmosphere that was not welcoming a lot. I'm talking about the major, gatekeepers. But what people fail to realize, because it was such a culture, it mattered, but it didn't, because it still got to the people. And so in retrospect, when you think about that time, what would you would like to add to that or say about that you feel hasn't really been said about Oceanside, North County, the hip-hop scene back in the day? What do you think does not get addressed that you really would like to maybe really illuminate?
Yeah, well, I just think with being from a small town where it's hard to get into the hip hop market being from a small town. It's a little easier now though with social media. than it was back then. So the younger kids today, they got more access to be able to promote themselves, market themselves via social media. Um, so it's kind of wide open. It's if you're really committed to it and put the work in, you can be successful from anywhere now. You know what I'm saying? Due to modern technology.
And so when I used to hang out at the clubs back in the day, was it was it you or someone like you that used to put those flyers on my car? Was it because that was the social media,
That was the social media for back then, right?
Those
exactly.
promoters or rappers or whatever, they want them to do that. They made a flyer and they put it on the car. Of course, we would and sometimes you'd have 3 or 4 on your car when you came out, but that's how you got the word out about what was happening. Were you one of those guys?
I was one of those dudes, but this is how we used to do it. I would send a stack to each high school. With somebody I knew at the high school, I sent a stack to Oceanside High, a stack to El Camino, a stack to Vista High School. You know what I mean? And have that dispersed there. And that was my way of promoting. That was my social media
back in the day. Yeah. And I think that's what you're alluding to about looking back. Nowadays they have social media, but we had feet, hands, and that everyone's in that club. And you got a good tight number, sometimes 100, 300 people that have gone to the club, and people come and hang out. So that's where you all would
and
come.
And then, too, so I remember when posters were the big thing, the big posters, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we would have posters made, and we ourselves would be out at night, all night, around the town, sneaking, putting up posters because they didn't like you to do that.
Yeah.
So we'd be out sneaking, putting up posters everywhere.
Because they can't get them all.
Yeah, right.
They can't get them all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we trying to hit all the most traffic locations. You know what I'm saying?
And it worked though.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
So that was, what I'm saying, the difference between then and now. We didn't have that social media platform, that digital platform.
What else? What else is kind of that you see that is different that in terms of I'm here now, and what would you reflecting back say about that time? I mean, you also said, we was young and we did some young things. So, I know that was part of your reflection, but about about some of the good stuff too. I mean, there was I had some of the best times at listening to that music, especially live and such, and being out. What can you share about that experience?
Yeah, well, I think it was just really the whole culture itself, just being an actual member and participant in the hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
It was, just fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Just and it isn't just one thing. It's the whole. It was basically our lives, So we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't.
Now, where are you still in the music industry? Are you where are you now with all of
what?
Wanting to put your music back out there? What's up?
Honestly, we do get together now and then and record some stuff. But at my age, we're not really trying to be like trying to go on tour or what I'm saying, or do none of that. We honestly do it for the love of the music and the culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we do. It's how we grew up. So that's how we have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we do it without any expectations, truthfully, honestly. You know what I mean?
Do you have kids yourself now?
I do.
Do-
My kids are grown now. Yeah.
Do they have they heard Daddy? Have they heard, what did they say about it? I'm curious.
They're hilarious. They're hilarious.
What they say,
Yeah.
Dad? What they say about your music?
They just think we're just too old to be rapping. They think it's funny. And, you know what I mean? And now there's such a big difference in the way, the new sound that's going on now. Music and hip hop evolves. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah. So the younger generation, they got their own sound now.
Now that is true.
You know what I mean? They got a
That is
whole
true.
different sound. So we're not from that generation. We don't make that the new style hip hop really. You know what I'm saying? We make what we like, how we grew up making it, what we like. So my kids is like, Daddy, that sound that's like old hip hop. You know what I mean? To them. Yeah.
You become vintage, huh?
Yeah,
It's
we vintage.
hip-hop.
That's
Yeah.
good word, vintage. We are now in the vintage category.
Have you heard of any of locally, any of the local Oceanside, North County artists that have come out? Are you know?
Yeah, there's a couple of cats out here that are bubbling and making some waves. I know my favorite artist from out of Oside, younger artists, has got to be Don 3. Yeah,
Okay.
cat by the name of Don 3. He's like my nephew, Don 3. He's real lyrical with it. He's still he's got that younger kind of sound, but still with some skill level involved to it, which is what I appreciate. And then you got another cat, Desi Hollow. He got a nice little bubble and wave going on. You got another cat. What's that other cat's name? Oh man. Oh yeah, Bishop Snow. Another cat. Cat. He's bubbling.
What advice, if any, as we close out this particular segment? And this has been awesome, by the way, Big Ghost. this has been awesome. But what advice? Okay, here we are. You got kids now that are grown, and you looking back, and you said you made some mistakes, but you had a whole lot of fun. What would be some of your advice to those that are in the hip hop? Maybe not necessarily business wise, maybe just, as you're older now.
If I give some advice, it's gonna be business orientated.
What would you say?
Yeah, I would say. Well, now the game is so different. I would say, if you young and you trying to get into the game, focus and concentrate on like your merchandising. Because now with streaming being the main platform, there's not big money in streaming. Let's just be honest. You got the biggest names in the game that probably only getting $40,000 a year off of streaming.
Yeah.
There ain't big money in streaming no more. The money is in touring and merchandising.
Yeah.
So my advice to all the new little youngsters that's coming up in the game, focus on touring and merchandising. That's how you're gonna be able to support yourself and your family in this game.
Yeah, get. It's easy to get a T-shirt. You can even hit up Will Ski and their
feel me?
Outwork
feel me?
Dream Killers. Get yourself some merchandising,
You feel me?
and
Exactly.
yeah. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Kelly.
having you
I
on.
appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, we have to welcome you back. And this has been the Music for Life podcast. We are here with Big Ghost of IBS. That is the Give it to me. The name.
The Innocent Bystanders.
Innocent Bystanders. His government name is Andre Rader. Andre Rader. So please, this is a series. Make sure you catch all the North County series. Special thanks to Andreas Marin. He's been our audio engineer and social media. William Harrison, who is producing these segments, as well as an intern here at Imagine Podcasting. And we have to give a big shout out to Chris Swan, who is the visionary of Music for Life. Thank you so much. Until next time. That was awesome. I'm sorry. Are we off? Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll cut it.